It is now 2:06. I finished Corporate Finance Chapter 1 to 2 homework. So, I looked into it, and basically we're going over the same textbook, and it's kind of like the same thing as the last Corporate Finance class. It's kind of weird. The practice quizzes I would take for, it's kind of funny because the professor seems to have embedded all of those practice quizzes into the Canvas directly. So basically, what I did is, I took the practice quiz for chapter 1 and 2, and also it's kind of nice because for those quizzes, I can just do unlimited attempts, and it shows me which answer is the correct answer, and it's not graded. So I just turn it in with no questions answered, and then I look at the questions and see which ones are the correct answer, and then I take it again and get all the correct answers, and then I did the homework assignment, which is 10 questions from chapters 1 and 2, and all the questions are kind of weird. They're kind of long questions. Some of them are like whole paragraphs long, and inside the paragraphs, some of the words are omitted, and you have to choose the correct word to go there. And it's mostly like vocabulary terms and stuff. And each question you have to choose like 3 or 4 different words. And it's nice. It's very, very nice because you actually get to check the work on each individual question. So you only have to go through the assignment once total. And it seems like it mostly correlated with the practice quiz, but there was some stuff that was on there that was not on the practice quiz. But most of it was from the practice quiz. But basically, I guessed all of the correct answers. Most of the ones I basically knew the answer, but some of them I didn't know, so I had to guess and then check work, and then if it was incorrect, I had to change the answer. And each word, it gives you like 3 options to choose from, so and I got through all 10 and then submitted it, and that's the first assignment complete for that. So basically all of the homework for this week is for corporate finance is done because that was the only assignment that was due. It was due on Wednesday. Ha! I did it 2 days ahead of time. Ha! That's amazing. If it was last semester, I would have done it the day it was due. But no, I did 2 days ahead of time. And all of the human resource homework is due Friday, and yet I'm starting to work on it today. Well, I'm going to start on it. I hope I get to start. I hope I start. I should start on it. In fact, this break, I'm having a break coming up in 30 minutes. But yeah, I can get some stuff done before that. I'd love to sniff. Oh yeah, and here's a very fun story about getting my textbooks for the semester. In fact, if we talk about my previous 2 semesters with UW-Platteville, I way overpaid for my textbooks for the first 2 semesters because the first semester I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I kind of followed through the UW-Platteville website to get textbooks, and it took me to an online place where I could buy my textbooks. And I don't know why that even exists. Maybe it's that only exists for students who are that website apparently only exists for students who are very far away from UW-Platteville and they have to get their textbooks online. But if you're nearby UW-Platteville, you can actually just rent your books for like $100 or something. But I don't know why I didn't have to pay anything this time. But anyways, for the first semester, I did the online thing. The second semester, I did the online thing again because I didn't feel like going there in person. The main reason I didn't want to go there in person is because they wanted me to get an ID. And they wanted me to have a student ID to go there in person. And that would have been such a pain to have to try to go and get my student ID and then have to go to the textbook center and get my books. So basically, I just tried to purchase them all online. Now, I didn't do it through that website. Well, actually, I did do it through that website. For some of the books, but for some other books, I tried to buy it from like Amazon or something because it was cheaper. But I still way overpaid. And guess what? I paid for books that I didn't even need to pay for because they were online. Oh my gosh, dude. That was so dumb. So this semester, I just love this stuff. So this semester, I was going to do it right, but this time, I was like, can I still somehow avoid going to the textbook center in person? And it turns out, yes, I can avoid going there and still... And it seems as if I got it for free. Like, I don't know why they didn't charge me anything. So basically what I did was I got super lucky. I saw an email in my inbox that was like, oh yeah, you can have your books delivered to you from the textbook center. I was like, whoa, yes, that's exactly what I want. I could have done that the last 2 semesters. So it has you fill out this random form. It's really weird. It just has you fill out like your address and stuff, and it's so strange because it has you fill out this form, and then when you click submit, it's like, all right, submitted, but nothing shows up after that. Like, you don't know if they're gonna send your books or not. And I was like, oh man, if nothing happens, like I thought I would get some kind of confirmation email or something that said, okay, your books are on your way, but on the way, but I didn't get any email like that. So I was like, okay, well, I think what I'm gonna have to do is call the textbook center. I was thinking maybe 2 of my classes have online books, but it seems as if one of my textbooks is a physical book, so maybe I could call the textbook center and ask them if they could have it delivered. But then lo and behold, the textbook comes in the mail. Like, they didn't even send me an confirmation email. I just filled out the form, and then a few days later, here comes the book in the mail. And like, I don't think I even got charged anything. Like, I don't know how that works. I thought it cost like $100 to rent your textbook, but here it is, my textbook for financial reporting and analysis, or whatever. And that class doesn't even start for 2 weeks, but that's so nice. Now I don't have to worry about textbooks for another 3 months, and I can most likely do the same exact thing for all the rest of the semesters. Okay. I hate my voice. Okay, we are now going to do human resource management stuff for less than 30 minutes. The longer I wait, the less time I'm gonna have to even do anything before the break starts at the 3 hours. And yeah, I'm just gonna read section 1.1 and 1.2, and then I will look at the 1.2 individual presentation. And then I don't think reading all that stuff will take 3 hours. I don't think that's gonna take 3 hours. So after that, then I'll message my teammates about the leader thingy. That's gonna take like 5 minutes. And then after that, I will write my intro. It's kind of suck, but it's 3 free points. So wait, only 3 points? That's not very many points. Is it even worth it? It's fine. It's easy to write about yourself, honestly. It's not that bad. So you know what I hate when we have classes is when we have to introduce ourselves, and then when it's like, oh, tell me what are your hobbies? You know what I don't why I hate saying what my hobbies are, because nobody knows what the heck I'm talking about. I have to explain for like 3 seconds. Okay, not 3 seconds. I have to explain for like 30 seconds what my hobby is. I can't just say, "Oh, I love traveling. I love what are some typical hobbies that people have? I love fishing. I I um I love hiking." Like everyone has a one word answer for what their hobby is. I have a one word answer as well, but nobody knows what I mean when I say I love speed cubing. Like if I just said, "Oh, my hobbies are speed cubing and speed running," they'd be like, "Oh, what the heck are you talking about?" It's like some random thing that nobody does. Like, "Oh, I like to solve a Rubik's cube as fast as possible, and I like to um, finish a specific video game that nobody plays anymore as fast as humanly possible using random glitches and stuff." Nobody does that. It's just completely. That's just why I don't like saying like what my hobbies are. But of course, that happened in the class today. He asked us to introduce ourselves. I said I said my name, where I'm from, and what my major is, and when I might graduate. And I stopped because I didn't want to talk about my hobby. And then he's like, "Okay, what are your hobbies?" And then I just explained what cubing was. I didn't even mention speedrunning. Stop. Also, I've kind of gotten back into playing Civilization 5. Um, so fun fact. So I played Civilization 5 for like the past few days. So the first day I played it, the first time I played it for the first time in a long time, I played on Immortal difficulty, which was a huge mistake because the only times that I've ever won with Immortal difficulty was when I've gotten extremely, extremely lucky. I have no freaking clue how one time I won on Immortal difficulty, and it took me like 270 something turns to win. 271 turns. Like usually on Immortal difficulty, the AI can finish the game in like 230 turns. But on that specific game, I won. Basically, the reason why I won is one, because all the other AI did horribly for some reason, and two, I spawned on a continent all by myself. I had the entire continent to myself. So, but it still took me 270 turns to win. And, anyways, the past, like 2 days ago, I did a game on Immortal, and if I had had the chance to win, it probably would have taken me till like around 270. I was getting to like the final stages of the final technologies you need for the spaceship when around term 250, one of the AI civilizations got a a science victory. I was like 20 or 30 turns away from my own science victory, so yeah, I lost that. And then the second game I played, I set it up so there was only two civilizations on a huge map, me and Venice. I sometimes I just like playing a game where like I wish I could set it so I was the only civilization on the map, but you can't do that. So what I do instead is I set it so there's only me and Venice, because Venice only is allowed to settle one city, and if there's no city states, it can't really do anything. So I did that, and then what I did was I settled cities extremely far apart, but so that it would make basically a hexagon pattern, like a hexagonal grid of cities. Like once they maxed out their borders, which expand 5 tiles out from the center, they would make kind of like a hexagon thing, like kind of like this. But unfortunately, the way the game is set up, you can't actually. It's perfectly set up you can't have your hexagons like it perfectly aligned, or maybe you can. Maybe I just didn't do it correctly, but they weren't all perfectly aligned. But anyways, I did that, and it took me like 300 turns to get to a science victory. But in fact, I didn't actually get the science victory. I got the diplomatic victory at like turn 270 or something like that, because when you only have 2 civilizations in the game and no city states, it's basically free to win a diplomatic victory. So, yeah, but then I kept going after the diplomatic victory, and then I maxed out all of my cities so that all of the borders had expanded to maximum capacity, and basically all of my cities had the maximum number of citizens, because I got to a point where my happiness went down to like -8, and I had literally no other way to get more happiness, and all of the cities had no more food, so they were either stagnant or starving at that point, and all of the cities had, a bunch of the cities, like 2 of them had over 60 citizens, and a few of them had like 50 citizens or 40 citizens, and I think, let's see, how many cities did I have? I think I had like 10 cities, and then once they were all maxed out, I was like, okay, now I'm going to capture Venice. So I did that, and then I maxed out Venice, which only took like 20 minutes because basically I just have to click next turn like 5 billion times until it's maxed out, and basically all I do is I get all of the required, like all of the good buildings that actually help you. I get all of those buildings built in the city, and then I set it to wealth, and then I wait for all the borders to expand, and all the borders had already expanded in the city, and I just had to wait like 20 or 30 turns for it to max out, and then I got to a point where you can't really do anything more than you've already done, because I mean, all you can really do is settle more cities, but I didn't really feel like doing that. Like, I've built all the buildings, the borders are completely expanded, I'm the only person left. You can't get any more happiness, and you can't get any more food, so your cities are stagnant. They can't grow anymore. So, and let's see how much. I think I had over 300,000 gold at the end of it. I was making about 1,000 gold per turn at the end of the game, and my accumulated gold was 300,000 gold. And that was with like 11 cities. Imagine if I had like 50 cities. I wonder what my gold output would have been at that point. But I think I'm going to do a game like that. So the next game I played after that, I started it yesterday. I'm continuing it today. I'm probably going to continue it during the 1 hour break and stuff, which is going to happen in about 15 minutes, by the way. Oh, man. So this second game, I wanted to play a game where it's possible that I could basically conquer everybody in the world. Like, have a huge map, but I could conquer everybody in the world, and it wouldn't be super difficult to do. And then I could max out every single city, and my entire civilization would span the entire map. So what I did was I sent it to King difficulty. Oh yeah, by the way, the last game I played with Venice, I had that Emperor difficulty, but it didn't really matter much because it was only me and Venice only had 1 city, so it was pretty easy. But I set this next one to King because on Emperor difficulty, it is possible to conquer the entire world, but it takes a lot more effort, and I didn't really feel like putting that much effort into it, so I set it to King. And so far I've set like 5 cities, I think. And I've been doing pretty well so far. I think I'm in turn like 200 and something, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, for some random reason I just spent like 5 years talking about Civilization 5. So like, fun fact, Civilization 5, I have only won the game on a normal difficulty twice. The first time I won on turn 271, where I was spawned on a continent by myself. And the second time I won, I settled like 10 cities, and I got a science victory on turn 259. I think that may be the fastest I've ever completed a game. Maybe I've done it faster, though. I can't remember. But that's one of the best games I've played, at least. And those are the only 2 times I ever won on that difficulty. Every other time I tried playing the difficulty, some other civilization got the science victory before me. So it's pretty difficult to win on that. I don't know if I've ever even played on Deity before. I think I may have, but I don't know if I finished the games I've played on Deity. Okay, so one interesting thing I did one time, I can't remember what difficulty it was, but I played a game where literally all I did was settle cities. All I did was train settlers in every city I had, and then I would settle a city. And I was only able to get away with that until I had like 15 cities, and then it got to the point where my happiness got down to like -10, and you're not allowed to settle any more cities when that happens. And unfortunately, that game ended pretty terribly because like a bunch of civilizations hated that I kept expanding my borders, so they all went to war and captured all of my cities, and I ended up with only like 2 cities left. I may have ended up with 0, but I can't remember. But maybe I just ended up with 2 cities left, and then I just gave up or something. That was funny. At this rate, I'm only going to have 10 minutes to read stuff. Why? Why do I have to talk about random stuff? Okay, I will spend the last 10 minutes. Okay, setting up the reading is only going to take like 2 minutes. So why the heck would I spend 10 minutes setting up reading it? And you may be wondering, what the heck? You're not even doing any homework. You're just talking about Civ 5. True. You are completely correct. That is what I'm doing. Dang it. I really don't like this class, Human Resource Management. It's like my least favorite class of all time. And yet I have to take it, and I have to take it with this professor. Sucks. I wish I could. Man. Have I taken any classes worse than this class? Human Resource Management. Let me think. Let's see, at UW Platteville. What was my least favorite class of the first semester I went to Platteville? Microeconomics was not that bad because he didn't give very many assignments. Supply chain management, same thing. The 2 classes I had with one professor, it was decent. It was kind of a lot of work, but it wasn't that bad. At least there weren't a ton of lectures to go to. It was leadership and management and global business. And then what was the other class that was left? I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, accounting. Yeah, that wasn't too bad either. An accounting class. My accounting classes have been fine. Microeconomics was really, really easy. Business communication, I didn't really like it too much, but it wasn't like the worst thing in the world. It was just kind of a lot of work, to be honest. And at least she didn't give us exams. She only gives us quizzes and stuff. But on the other hand, I maybe would rather have exams than having to write a discussion post every single week and doing all the other stuff we had to do. So at Platteville, for sure, Human Resource Management is definitely the worst class I've had. Or at least my least favorite class. What about NICC? Yep, this is how I waste my time. This is how I waste my... What was my worst class? I think it would have to be geography. I think maybe that was the worst one, because the reason why that was the worst one is because it had so much homework. You had to write like 4 discussion posts a week. It was so ridiculous. That class was so. Oh my gosh, I hated that class. I got like a B or a B minus. I think that was the worst grade I ever got in college so far. What was worse, that class or this class? I'd say even the geography class was worse than the human resource class, because at least with the human resource class, you don't have to write 4 discussion posts a week. Yeah, so I'd say the human resource class is my second worst class of all time in college. I think, was there any other ones that were terrible? I'd say that was the worst one by far. Now at this rate, I only have 5 minutes. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna set up the reading, get started on the reading for like 2 minutes, then take a break for 1 hour. Then I will probably make another vlog at the start of the next session, which is so stupid. Like, how much time am I wasting on these vlogs? But then again, I'm starting all of this homework way days in advance before it's due, so at least that's something. So anyways, bye.